Hello, I'm a Greek geek because I'm 50% Greek and 100% a geek. Now, I had a hard time convincing my girlfriend to go with me to watch this movie because the last time I took her to see a DC movie, it didn't end very well. Failed comedian Arthur is constantly bullied, brutally assaulted, and neglected, and he begins his slow, slippery slope into madness and becoming the icon that we know as the Joker. It is solely focused on him and not many other characters, and it's a kind of a character study on what can happen when people are neglected and assaulted and aren't treated for their mental health issues.
Arthur, does it help to have someone to talk to?
So it's already been said a million times before, but I'm going to say it again. Joaquin Phoenix has done a fantastic job in his portrayal as the Joker in this movie. He gives an amazing and very chilling performance. He lost, I think, about 24 kilos for the role, so he's looking very, very skinny and almost skeletal and sickly. I like how he has this condition called the pseudo-bulbar effect. I'm probably butchering the name, I'm sorry. Which causes him to uncontrollably laugh and unable to control when he's laughing. So a lot of the times, and very inconvenient for him, he just starts laughing so hard and makes a lot of people around him uncomfortable. And you really feel for him. Like, this is a guy that is really struggling and trying to make it as a comedian, and he's dealing with so much stuff and taking care of his mother at the same time. And you kind of really feel bad for him, even though he is really the villain. Everyone else is fine. The other side characters, they're fine enough. Everyone acts well enough, but everyone's performance doesn't really hold a candle to Joaquin's performance. He really steals the show. Like, I liked Robert De Niro's character. His was pretty fun, being like a talk show host and not really caring about other people, that kind of thing. And using Arthur just as jokes, and to try and get more ratings on his show, which helps Arthur become the Joker, actually. I like how Thomas Wayne was kind of portrayed as more of an asshole kind of character. He seems like someone who is just so out of touch with reality. He quite literally calls like poor people in this movie clowns, and it just shows that he's out of touch. But he says he wants to help people, but he really doesn't really know how. Kind of reminds me of someone in real life. And yes, there is a love interest in this movie. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't get that impression from the trailers or anything, or maybe I missed something. But yes, there's a love interest, and she's okay. I don't have much to say about her. Even the Wikipedia page just talks about what the actress said, what it was like working with Joaquin Phoenix, as opposed to what that character actually is. So that goes to show how memorable that character is.
One small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
The movie does an excellent job of showing what neglect and abuse can do to drive someone to do unspeakable things, really. Like, everything goes wrong for Arthur. Like, he constantly gets bullied, he gets assaulted, he gets blamed for things he didn't do, and things just start to spiral out of control that he can't control. Eventually, he's pushed to the edge and eventually kills someone, and then things start to change for him. We start to see him develop into this kind of persona that is the Joker. It's not a really subtle tone. The movie really just beats you over the head with it repeatedly throughout the movie. So the theme is very obvious. And this movie has a very dark psychological thriller kind of tone. That's to be expected for this kind of movie. It's more of a kind of character study as opposed to an actual traditional comic book movie. So it is very dark, and it does have some dark humor in it as well. But then again, it is a DC movie, so...
You're so dark! Do you say you're not from the DC universe?
Not much about action. I just wanted to mention how it's not your typical comic book superhero villain adaptation movie. It's more of a character study of what can happen that will make someone descend into madness. So you're not going to see people flying around, shooting lasers out of their eyes and punching each other through walls and flying around. Not going to see that in this movie. It feels very grounded in reality, kind of how like Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy was more grounded in reality, but this one feels even more so. But even though there isn't much action in the movie, it is very, very violent. It is an R-rated movie after all, so don't take your kids to go see that. But the violence is very, very brutal, very gory, and it has a kind of realistic feel to it.
Stop them!
I don't know if this movie aims to adapt any particular comic or story about the Joker. I'm not that knowledgeable in that regard, but if someone does know, please let me know in the comments down below. Like, legitimately, is this based on an origin of Joker of some description that I'm not aware of? It feels a lot less like a comic book adaptation rather than a character study, and that's what this movie feels like. It's more of a character study on what can happen to someone to descend into madness. I like Arthur's transformation to the Joker. Like, towards the start of the movie, I'm like, this doesn't really feel like the Joker, but that's what they're going for, I think. And then towards the end of the movie, where things start to happen, how he starts to behave, he's laughing and things are happening, and I'm just like,
oh yeah, it's all coming together.
And at the end of the movie, he feels like the Joker that I've seen in so many other interpretations, which is a good thing. I highly recommend that you check out this movie. It is very interesting and very layered. Lots of things happen in it. It's probably warrants a second watch, actually. But if you're into the usual kind of superhero comic book adaptations, where it's all flashy humor, punching people, etc., this might not be for you, but I really recommend that you check it out. So anyway, those are my thoughts on The Joker. Thank you again for listening to me ramble on about a movie for a few minutes. I do appreciate it. Thank you again, and I'll catch you next time.